Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sarthyam
Sarthyam
Arjunasya Adau
Arjunasya Adha
Kurvam Gitamratam Dadau
Kurvam Gitamratam Dadau
Lokatra Upakarya
Lokatra Upakarya
Tasmai Krishnatmane Namaha.
Tasmai Krishnatmane Namaha.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai.
Jai.
Okay, Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. English. Contents of the Gita summarized. So we have so far discussed 4 or 5 arguments from Arjun to not to fight, for not fighting. Can you please tell me one by one?
Compassion.
Compassion. Compassion for
Others.
others.
Fear of loss of life.
Compassion for others.
Compassion about his family,
Correct.
the people who are going to fight him.
Compassion about his family, his relatives, his cousins, his own brothers. He's compassionate about everyone, even though they are adharmis.
Yeah.
So corruption of progeny.
Progeny.
No,
So
unwanted
unwanted
progeny.
population.
Unwanted
Yeah.
population.
The Varna
So-
Sankara.
Varna Sankara. Correct.
Mhm.
Unwanted progeny. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fear of sinful reactions.
Fear of sinful reactions. 3. Number 4.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment. How will I enjoy without my relatives, without my own people? 4. Number 5.
So fifth, I think you asked to find from
Okay.
2.6.
Sure. So 2.6. We discussed 2.6.
We discussed, and you had asked to. We did not discuss. We only
Read
read
the
the
verse.
verse,
We
and
will
you had
discuss it
asked.
today.
Yeah.
And we will also discuss what is the 5th argument from Arjun. Okay. So anyone of you would like to represent your 1 and 2 groups? Yes. Who would like to represent number 1 group?
So actually, there was no group discussion done in the
Okay.
last week
No
because of
problem then.
certain
Okay.
things.
So it's open to all then.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. So who would like to start or
May I?
say first? Yeah, you can, Abhijit, if you want to.
Sir, in this verse, what I see from Arjun's point of view, he is uncertain about the victory, whether he's
Uncertain.
going to.
Uncertainty. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
And
does uncertainty brings next? What is the
confusion.
confusion? So uncertainty and confusion that brings to a state where a person cannot.
Take a decision.
Very good. So what is that state called? When someone cannot take a decision.
Dilemma.
Indecision. Very simple.
Indecisive.
Indecision. So his 5th argument is that he cannot decide. He says, nor do we know which is better.
Yeah.
The first statement he says. So we'll read the verse again.
Yeah.
Please repeat after me. 2.6. न चैदत् विद्मः कतरन् नो गरियो
न चैतद्
Chaitved
विद्मः
Vidma
कतरन्नु
Kataram Gariyo
गरियो
यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नो जयेयुः
यद्वा जयेम यदि वायेनु जयेयु
यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्ते
यानेव
Yanev
हत्वा न
Hatva
जिजीविषामहस्त्वे
अवस्थितः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः
अवस्थितः
Avastita
प्रमुखे
Pramukhe
धार्तराष्ट्राः
Dhartarashtraha.
nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we would not care to live, yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Did you understand this? So first one, he says, nor do we know which is better. So he cannot decide. He is indecisive. Of what? Conquering them or being conquered by them. So he cannot decide whether he should kill them or he should be killed by them. So when at during that era, if there was a war, a fight, in the battle, until someone is killed or someone is dead himself or he kills someone, the fight is not over. That is the kind of fight they used to have. Not like today, you know, that you decide you are the winner of the war on certain parameters. No, until even the last soldier is standing from the opposite army and he is alive, you are not a winner. That's how those wars were. Or until he surrenders and comes to you, that is also the dharma of a Kshatriya. That someone who comes to the shelter of a Kshatriya, he has to give shelter. Okay? This is how the war tactics were or the war rules were. So he says, I don't know which one is better, conquering them or being conquered by them, which he means that should I kill them or I should be killed by them. Further, he says, if we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
You understand this statement by Arjun?
Yeah.
What is it?
It says that it means that if we are going to kill Dhritarashtra's son,
We
then
can't
what's
hear
the
you,
point?
Kalpesh.
Sorry, actually, I left my headset in my car and it's a
Okay,
bit
okay,
far. So
okay,
I'll try to be as close as possible.
okay.
So what Arjun is saying that if if he kills his cousins, which is like Dhritarashtra's son, then he goes like what's the point of Pandavas also living and
So which argument is this coinciding with?
compassion towards relatives.
Is this compassion?
No, sir, enjoyment.
Yes. Very nice, Randir. So, how will I enjoy if everyone is dead? All my cousins are gone. So he's being nostalgic as well. I'm just thinking.
So isn't he being greedy? I mean, not greedy, proud. I mean, not proud. What is that word called? Boastful. If you don't, I mean, what's the use of having a fancy car if there's nobody around to appreciate it,
You can look at it in that way, but Arjun's mood was not like that because he
right?
never had that kind of. Because if you look at the background of the Pandavas, they did not have many things to fancy. They were living in the forest, always lived like, begging at that time, living at some place like Brahmanas, that's how
Right,
they were living. 12 years they went to exile. They lived in the forest, were eating only the fruits and all the living in a hut and, made by them. So they did not have many luxuries. So
right.
that point, I mean, for the food for thought is okay. I mean, you can think about it, but practically speaking, doesn't relate to the lifestyle they were living.
So, because one thought comes to mind, when I was thinking about this, is if there's a saying among the Chinese, I think, is if a tree falls in the jungle and there's no one around, was there really a sound?
Hmm. If you read the purport, first line of the purport, I'll read it. Arjun did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriyas, or whether
Right.
he should refrain and live by begging.
Okay.
So what it is said is, now this is the purport given by Srila Prabhupada.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir.
So here comes the pure devotee and the Vedantic who understands Shastra.
Okay.
He
I
explains it.
apologize. I
No,
apologize.
no, 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 no. You and me both are in the same boat, Randir. You don't have to apologize for that. What I'm saying is that it is good that we analyze and think. This is Sankhya Yoga. We have to analyze.
Right, sir.
So, but what happens is that the Shastra has there are a lot of googlies in the Shastra, googly balls, which are difficult to play, difficult to understand. So, what happens is that it is the analogy given is that Shastras are like the banana, you know. So, when we try to read and analyze in our own way, we might slip on the banana skin. But when there is an authority who's called the Guru or a Sadhu, so Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, these are the three source of the right information, authoritative information. So to understand the Shastras, when we introduce Guru, what happens is that we don't slip on the banana skin. Instead, we get the banana peel, which is the fruit of the Shastra. Is it making sense? So when we read Shastras, what happens is sometimes we may slip. What happens on the banana skin? If we put our step on the banana skin, we may slip. But when the Guru comes in, he helps us not to slip, and he actually peels the banana very nicely and give us the peel of the banana. He gives us the real fruit. So here comes La Prabhupada for both of us, Randhir and me both, and he explained this Arjun did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessarily violence. Number one, although fighting is the duty of a Kshatriya, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. Who lives by begging? Which Varna?
Bhikshuk,
Yes, but what Varna is the Bhikshuk?
Brahman.
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 Brahman. Hmm.
Brahman. Brahman. The Brahmanas are supposed to only impart education, and in return, if someone gives them something, it's good, okay. Otherwise, they don't ask for it.
Hmm.
That is a Brahman. So that is the duty of a Brahman. So that's why most of the rishis and sadhus, they used to send their disciples to go and ask for alms. They will go and get some alms or beg for the alms, and people will happily give them not what they would not give what they are not eating, and it is a leftover. They would not
Hmm.
give them that. They will give them the best as a Brahman, because they were considered to be the top among the Varnas. But Brahmanas will not keep or save for themselves or things like that. No, they will not accumulate wealth. Their life will be on just relying on imparting knowledge to everyone. And in return, if someone gives, well and good. This is the duty of a Brahman. So Arjun is trying to understand whether he should go and live a life of a Brahman, or he should act like a Kshatriya. Does it make sense?
Yep.
In the further verses, Krishna will explain that doing someone else's duty will cause a lot of mishap. So he is trying to do someone else's duty, which is a Brahmana's duty. Although he is not a Brahmana, he is a Kshatriya. So he is being indecisive as to which duty he should perform, whether to be killing them or whether to be killed by them, or defeated by them and going in the shelter and then living the life of the begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still, if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. So here comes the next part which we discussed, Randir. Enjoyment. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them, because your own family is gone. It's not showing or someone to appreciate, but to share. Yes, Rishi.
But this point around enjoyment, these are people who are wanting to kill them. They're arrayed against them to kill them.
Exactly.
How will they enjoy with them? Like even if they defeat them?
Very rightly said. That is the confusion. So he is in two minds, whether I should kill them or whether I should stay and live begging so that my family stays. When we have a lot of differences in our family, like for example, even in today's world, I mean, today's world is the worst world, Kali Yuga. But if you see, there are fights between two brothers, fight between cousins, and they even fight in the court. You know, I can even see a lot of businessmen recently. I wouldn't take the names, but there are recent businessmen having a lot of differences between each other, and they part their ways. And sometimes one of the brother succeeds a lot, the other brother really goes down. But I've also seen that even with those circumstances, with a lot of differences in those bad circumstances, the person who's doing good, he comes and helps the other brother, so that relationship still stays.
Hmm.
Even if you put yourself into Arjun's shoes. There may be differences among families, but for that, the thought of killing them will not be justified in your own mind. Does it make sense?
Putting yourself in myself in Arjun's shoes, like he's still such a, I mean, class person. Like even at this stage,
Hmm.
he's happy to leave everything, but still,
Hmm.
as long as that relationship is
Because he's the devotee of Krishna. That's the reason, as it said, because he's a pure devotee of the Lord. So he considers everyone as a, he's being humble. He's being nice.
mm,
But I'll come to something. I'll just hear Randhir out first. Yes, Randhir. Think you're
Randir, unmute yourself.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, somewhere in the preview I read, I'm not sure, I think Abhijit and Aditi might actually, shed more light on it. But I said is on the basis of the confusion that he was facing,
Mhm.
it was said that the Lord had already determined or had already killed these people. It was Arjun was simply the instrument. It's like the Lord had already made a decision to. I mean, that was something which I couldn't understand is
Yeah.
why will you have a confusion when Shri Krishna has, the Godhead has already made a determination that this is being done.
The Arjun did not know that determination.
Acha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he
Okay.
was he was put in that state so that we can benefit.
Right. But if he is the devotee of the Lord, if he is his friend, right, wouldn't he actually have an understanding, a better understanding of that? Because we are stuck in the jal of Maya. We would actually be confused there. But
Yes.
Arjun being so close, shouldn't he kind of had a better understanding of it?
Yes. But he is being put into illusion so that we can understand Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That is why it is said that
Thank you.
when we are reading Bhagavad Gita, we have to hear Bhagavad Gita as if we are Arjun.
Okay.
What happens is that we start with that. It has happened so many times with me as well. So when I start reading Bhagavad Gita, I start relating to Arjun and listening to Krishna as the answers and questions of Arjun as my questions. But over some time, again, I become the third person and I start looking as Arjun as a different person and two people talking
Okay.
to each other, and I start doubting Krishna. I start answering, why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? But again, when I put myself into Arjun's shoes, then I start hearing Bhagavad Gita. It makes different sense to me. So that
So,
idea of
right.
putting ourselves
Uh-huh.
again and again into that situation is what we have
Right.
to try and attend. Yeah, yeah, yes, Randir.
Right. It's sorry. I'm not doubting what I'm. The way I'm looking at the Bhagavad Gita is it's a conversation between, Lord Krishna to the rest of humanity. The
Yes,
rest, the biggest problem that I'm actually having is trying to put myself into Arjun's shoes and saying is,
yes,
you have the
yeah,
you have a friendship, a beautiful friendship with the Lord, which cannot be, described in words. You are
mm,
his devotee. He himself is talking to you. Then why is there this? You understand my point, right, sir?
mm. It's a question for us also. Krishna is saying so many things. Why are we not hearing him?
Right, right, right.
He will say a lot of things
Okay.
further. That is the idea.
Uh-huh.
If we can follow just one verse of Krishna into our life will change completely.
Right.
Are we hearing Krishna? That's the question.
Right.
Yes, that is the real question. You're right, Randir. Yes, Abhijit.
I would like to answer Randir on this. If we go to the verse 1.23 or 1.22 and 23, where Arjun is very much confident. In fact, he is very much proud of being there on the battlefield, and he says that take me
I'm gonna kill him.
in middle of the field and
Yes.
show me. And there is where Krishna creates that illusion for him, and he
Senayoro
gives him
bhayor
the
madhye.
compassion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
Yes.
says that look at
Thank
whom
you.
you are going to fight.
Senayoro bhayor madhye ratham
Yeah.
sthape uchyate. Absolutely. This is what we go to the Lord with, We discuss that. We go to the Lord and say that you give me this, and I'll take care of the rest. Don't worry. Intelligence is
Right, sir.
mine. You give me the money. But then, even when
In
someone
27,
gets the
28.
money,
So,
yeah, 27,
I
28.
apologize, sir. In
Yeah,
27, 28, it's the opposite, isn't it? It's like there Arjun starts getting remorse, isn't it? Isn't it
27 he
remorse or is it
starts,
compassion?
he starts getting. See, his senses went against him.
Right,
So
right.
we don't realize that these senses which are given to us, they may be the cause of our delusion.
Okay,
They may be the cause
okay.
of our illusion. We don't realize that. What we do is, ठीक है यार चलता है यार एक ड्रिंक से क्या होता है ठीक है यार चलता है एक लड़की से क्या होता है ठीक है यार what difference does it make if I attend this party and take a drug how does it matter यार थोड़ा बहुत तो चलता है यार
So is that
you know?
Prakriti?
No, it is your sense. There are five senses, the horses.
Okay, okay.
एक भी घोड़ा लगाम से गया ना पूरा रथ गिर जाता है
Right.
you know यार मैं
Okay.
ये सब चीज तो ठीक है यार बस एक ही चीज मेरे से नहीं छूटती है यार वो मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा सॉरी लेकिन भगवान तो सबके लिए एक ही है ना तो मेरे को भी वो नहीं the sense you are the weakest sense of yours will take you down. That's what happened with Arjun. Not just one sense, it actually it actually brought up a lot of dormant issues which he had inside him. He was so confident, but he didn't realize that these senses, this mind, can be the cause of my illusion. And that's what he is in at the moment. Maya.
Maya.
Have you heard about this word? Maya. सुना है ये शब्द
Illusion.
सुना है
Illusion.
Something which is not real. Maya. Ya means real. Ma means not. Not real is Maya. Okay. Yes. What happens when you watch the movie? You see the kind of setup they make, the configuration before, the pre-configuration before the movie. The lights are dimmed. The entire hall is made dark so that you can be fully into the illusion. Yes. तुम्हारा ध्यान कहीं नहीं जाना चाहिए. You are living a life basically what they are showing you. Something which is not real. You live that life. Whatever happens on the screen, you are a part of it. You consider that as real, isn't it? Yes or no?
It's
Yes.
entertainment.
No, that is okay. But this is Maya. This is how Maya is.
Hmm.
It's not real. So Arjun is in Maya. He is an illusion. And when we are in illusion, we cannot decide. So that is why when you are in illusion, when you are under Maya, the only way you can come out of the illusion is Krishna. Yes.
I've read somewhere that Maya, the goddess Maya, is also in service of Krishna.
That is a different topic. We will come to that. So there are different types of mayas also. There is Mahamaya, there is Yoga Maya. So we will talk about that at a certain point.
Correct. Okay. Yep.
It is, to answer you, yes, it is an energy of Krishna, but it is an external energy of Krishna.
Hmm.
Okay? And the internal energy of Krishna is different. That is called Yoga Maya. Okay?
Okay.
That is to help you come closer to Krishna.
Yes.
And the other external Maya takes you away from Krishna.
It tests your faith also in a way.
In a
It
way.
it has both the believers. I mean, I don't know whether believer is the right word, but those who are on the path towards consciousness,
Yeah.
and
So
also
at
those
the
who are not
moment,
on the path.
Arjun is in the external potency of the Lord. The Maya which takes away from Krishna.
Hmm.
And that resides in your senses also,
Hmm.
your mind also. Yeah. What happens generally with the senses? The senses get attracted towards a sense object. Yes.
Yep.
And then slowly and slowly they feed the mind saying that this is a necessity. Yes. And then the
Mhm.
mind says, yes, I like it. And then slowly and slowly it says, I want it. And then slowly and slowly it says, I want it now.
Hmm.
So the sense creates the sense perception. Yes. And then the mind says, I like it or dislike it. Dislike it, it's gone. Like it of the previous experience
Hmm.
from that same sense object,
To feedback.
says it likes it. And then it is called the desire. Next, I want it. And then when he wants it now, it is called the urge. Okay. So we'll come back from the urge, desire, mind to the senses again. So senses bring in, brought Arjun into illusion. His senses, one sense. Yes, that brought in compassion, that brought in a lot of other arguments henceforth. Yes, now we come back to the question as to why is he saying that these people, although they are sitting on the side of adharma, they are right. Because he's an illusion. He cannot understand. So if you look at it, Duryodhan, Karna, and his brothers, they disrobed Draupadi after the gambling match. So they were the real culprits. But when Draupadi at that point went to Dronacharya, went to Bhishma Pitama for help, what did they do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And Dhritarashtra
Now,
being the king. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, well, you can give him a yellow card at the moment because he was blind, but the red card to be given
Bhishma.
to Bhishma and Drona, they could see what's happening. So it was traumatic for everyone, no doubt, but it was horrifying for Draupadi. When she went to Bhishma, the Bhishma was actually talking to Draupadi and he gave an argument. He gave an argument saying that you were the wife of Yudhishthir before he lost you. So after a girl marries, she comes to the shelter of the husband, as per the Shastric understanding. So previously she is in the shelter of her father. So her father should be, I mean, in today's world there is no opinion asked, but father is under the shelter of the father until the father agrees. The girl cannot marry someone else. I mean, anyone for that matter, until the father agrees that yes, he wants his daughter to be married to that person, the girl can't marry. The father has to agree. Similarly, when the girl is married to the husband is the person who's taking the who's who takes the what do you call the ownership of the shelter of that lady. So if he is lost already himself in the gambling match, now he is in someone else's shelter. He's lost himself as a and become a servant of Duryodhan. So how can he gamble Draupadi? Because he had already gambled himself. You getting what I'm saying?
Yes. He's lost the right to gamble
Yeah,
anything. Everything
yeah,
is already his,
yeah, yeah.
Duryodhan's.
But still he went and gambled Draupadi. So he did not have a right to gamble her. But he has done that and he has lost Draupadi also. So he said, who is your shelter? I don't know. That Bhishma is trying to understand through Shastric understanding and through Dharma. That is called Niyam Agraha. So there is a word called Niyamagraha and Niyamagraha. They sound the same. Niyamagraha and Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means someone who follows the rules and regulations. I'll just bring up the word of Sanskrit.
So you brought this up once before.
Yes, so I just want to reconcile this. Reason being that to show that why Arjun is an illusion, even though the understanding is very clear that they are on the side of adharma, even his own relatives who are good to him. He thinks they are good to him, but they have been adharmis. That's why they are on the side of adharma. So,
But
niyamagraha. So there are two words: niyamagraha, niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means that not to accept the rules and regulations. Yeah. And the other meaning is simply to accept the rules and regulations without the good effect of that. Similar meaning. Someone
Sir,
who's not accepting the rules and regulations, and the person is accepting the rules and regulations just by mere accepting it, but not with the correct implementation. Does it make sense?
Which one is which?
So they
Agraha
both
is.
are the same person. So a person may be not following the rules and regulations at all, but someone who's following the rules and regulations but not implementing them correctly, they fall in the same category. They're two different kinds of things. I'll give you an example. So if someone is following the speed limit, you know, someone is following the speed limit, so 60 is the speed limit and is driving at 60 constantly. Okay. The other person, he is following the speed limit only when there are cameras.
Hmm.
You understand? So he is doing, but he's not actually implementing them. He's following the rules so that he's not caught. So they both are different basically. The person who's following the rules is the correct person. He's implementing them. And there is a third person who doesn't care. He just drives. If there is a camera or not camera. So there is not much difference between the person who does not care and the person who is only driving when there are cameras. You know what I mean? So implementing correctly or not implementing correctly makes a person different. So niyam agraha and niyam agraha, So I just explained first one. Niyamagraha means that someone who does not follow the rules and regulations. So these both people, both kind of people, they come in that category. The other one is Niyamagraha, who follows the rules and regulation and sticks to them. And he sticks to the rules and regulation such that he is not able to understand where to draw the line. He falls into that. So Bhishma was, he was in a catch 22 situation. He was following too much of rules and regulations that he was losing the implementation of them. You understand? So either you are following the rules and regulations and do not know how to implement completely, and the other one is that he doesn't follow the rules and regulations and or doesn't know how to implement it correctly. So there are two kinds of people.
Yeah, so
Bhishma
the question,
knew the rules and regulations very well, but he didn't know how to implement.
I think the very good question to ask here would be,
Yeah,
which person is more sinfulness when he knows and then commits the crime, or does
both
not
are
know?
wrong.
Both are wrong. Okay.
See, that is where the intelligence factor comes into picture. That's where the dharma comes into picture.
Yeah.
What is the duty of a kshatriya? The duty of a kshatriya is
To protect.
shata shatatrayate iti kshatriya.
Mhm.
The one who comes to his shelter, he should protect. It's very simple. If you follow the dharma, that is why dharma is the nature of a person. So I'll give you a very simple example. Chhatrapati Shivaji. His nature was that if he sees any um, illegal activity or anything which is adharma, which is not right, which is something wrong he sees and something which is illegal, he'll straight away take his sword and act on it. Nature, he wouldn't sit down and calculate whether he fits in this category or no. No, this is wrong. He acts. That is a nature of a person.
Mhm.
That is Kshatriya. So one who does not follow that is a adharmi. Very simple. There is no much analysis required here. Understand?
Yeah.
So he did not follow the Kshatriya dharma. So he is adharmi.
Sir,
Second,
Abhijit had a
Dronacharya.
question.
Yeah, yes, yes. Who had a question?
Abhijit, I guess.
Abhijit. Yes, Abhijit.
Does that mean niyam agraha? That means too much of attachment towards the dharma, or too
Too
much
much
of
analysis. Too much analysis leads
analysis?
to paralysis.
Okay, we had discussed this on 14th March.
Oh, very nice.
Uh,
Yeah. But the reason I bring it up here is 2.6 is where Arjun is confused as to who is dharmi and who is adharmi. Yes, Randhir.
So, so going by Bhishma's conversation with Draupadi, where he says she is initially with the father, who then not well, basically who gives her to the husband. Then by this definition, the husband now has gone ahead and bartered her when she wasn't his to do so.
Hmm.
So by this definition, doesn't this make Yudhishthir adharmi too?
No, Yudhishthir followed his dharma by playing the gambling match.
Right? But he didn't have the moral justification to go ahead and gamble something which,
No, that
I
is
mean,
prior.
okay, someone said, uh-huh,
That is prior. So, based on that, Yudhishthir is fighting the war. They all took a
okay,
vow that we will kill them. So they, of course, the thing happened, wrong thing happened. But at that point, at that situation, she went to Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas. But they because they were they had lost themselves and they were the servants of Duryodhan. They were quiet. But
Okay.
Bhishma and Drona, they were not. They were open. But now, analyzing at that point as to what is the state of the person who's come for a shelter to me, that analysis is not required.
Okay. 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 Okay.
They are not bound by anything that they have lost. They have become slaves or someone or something like that. No, they were having that
Kshatriyas.
option of being that Kshatriya and following the Kshatriya dharma and saving her.
And they didn't. And they didn't. Okay.
They did not.
Okay.
Dronacharya, as a Brahman, he also has to, and he was a guru. A guru has to act at that time as well by telling Bhishma that this is your dharma, you should protect her. So he kept quiet. So keeping quiet when the dharma is happening is also a dharma.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is the
Okay.
understanding. So that pastime explains one thing very nicely, that no matter how many worthy protectors we have, still, this world can put us into a situation where none of these protectors will help us. And what Draupadi did at that time, she chanted the name of Krishna.
Krishna.
Nobody saw Krishna there. Nobody saw Krishna there. He did not, nobody see him there. But he appeared and he did not allow disrobing. It did not happen. Okay, that pastime is very powerful to understand this. So, fifth argument of Arjun, indecision, is under the illusion. Again. So now he is indecided. He is not decided. Now, from this point onwards, now this is the border line of Bhagavad Gita, where we will see the change in characters. The characters will play a different role now. Arjun and Krishna, they both were friends, but now the relationship will change after this verse. Okay, so we'll read the next verse. You understood 2.6 very clearly now? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. So we'll move to 2.7. This is one of the very important verses and a turning point in Bhagavad Gita, where it changes the relationship between Arjun and Krishna. So 2.7, please open the page and repeat after me. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhavah
कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः
Karpanya
prachhami tvam dharma samhudha
पृच्छामि
पृच्छामि
त्वां
त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः
yacha shreyasyam nishchitam bruhi tanme
यच
यजश्रेयान् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
shishyastiham shadhimam tvam prapannam.
शिष्यस्तेऽहं
शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधुमां त्वां
साधुमां तां
प्रपन्नम्
प्रपन्नम्
I'll read it again. Karpanya doshopahat swabhavah
कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः
स्वभावः
prachhami tvam dharma samhudha
पृच्छामि
पृच्छामि
त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः
yacha shreyasyam nishchitam bruhi tanme
यच
श्रेयस्यां
श्रेयस्यां
निश्चितं
निश्चितं
ब्रूहि तन्मे
ब्रूहितं मे
shishyastiham shadhimam tvam prapannam.
शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां
प्रपन्नम्
प्रपन्नम्
Arjun says, Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. He understands. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So, till this time, what Krishna was doing, what talks was he giving to Arjun?
Pep
Pep
talks.
talk.
Pep
Friendly talk.
talk. Very good. He was giving pep talk as a friend. Come on, man, you can do it. Don't be, don't act like a eunuch, you know? Don't act like a Shudra. Come on, do it. You can fight. But now, Arjun is requesting him to instruct him. And he's surrendering him to Krishna and asking him to accept him as his disciple. So now the relationship from here between Arjun and Krishna is of a
Teacher student.
Guru Shishya.
disciple
Guru
and
Shishya.
a master
Yeah,
spiritual.
master and
Guru and Shishya.
Shishya.
Guru Shishya. Yeah.
That is the relationship between Arjun and Krishna now. So from this verse, this is the verse where the where Arjun surrenders to Krishna. Very important verse, 2.7. So now, so you see that until Arjun is surrendering onto Krishna, Krishna doesn't instruct him. He's just giving a pep talk. He's just telling him, you can do it. Why a person like you should be able to do it. He's not instructing, not giving advice. But what do we do? Free advice to everyone. ये कर ले यार. Go ahead. Someone comes to us, yeah, I need help in this one. Oh, don't worry. You do this, and everything will be okay. Do not advise. Suggest. Pep talks are okay. The understanding is very clear. Do not advise until someone is seeking really deep and literally taking your shelter for the advice. That's the biggest understanding from Krishna. Krishna doesn't do it. So the Lord himself does not do it. We should avoid that too. Here comes the definition of intelligence also, that when you don't know what to do, you should surrender to someone who has seen the truth, someone who knows the truth. Arjun knows that Krishna knows the truth. Not just within 15 minutes or 20 minutes, he has been following and understanding and trying to seek. That's why he's able to surrender. It takes a lot of time to find a guru who can really guide us in our spiritual journey. Very difficult to get a guru. Very difficult. Very difficult. I think Aditi had a question. Who is better, Guru or Krishna or God? Yes, Aditi?
My question was, what is the difference between Guru and God? Some people think Guru is God, but I don't agree with that. Guru is the
Okay.
person who takes us to God, he shows us the direction, and but Guru is not God. That is what I had that thing. We both are different. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but this is what I think. So
Okay.
I have a mentor in faith who is leading me, who is showing me the right direction towards God, you know. So that is what I thought. I don't know if I'm right or not. The difference between Guru and God.
Do you know who's Kabir? Have you heard about a
Sant
guy
Kabir.
called Kabir? Sant Kabir Das. Have you heard? सुना है नाम कबीर का?
Yeah. हाँ,
Yes,
yes.
स्कूल
yes.
में कभी पढ़ा है कबीर के दोहे?
हाँ पढ़े हैं.
Yeah,
I
Dohas.
don't remember any.
पढ़े हैं? याद है कोई?
याद नहीं है. पढ़े सर.
The
Dekh
reason why
Kabira Roya.
it was the great time, when we had, nowadays kids even don't get to see those. We were lucky to have those in our textbooks, but now slowly and slowly, all the spiritual aspect has been taken out from the textbooks. But I'm glad that there are quite a few, groups who are trying to introduce Bhagavad Gita into the studies or the academic, institutions. So hopefully we will have Bhagavad Gita as a textbook sometime. So Sant Kabir Das says, Guru Gobind dono khade, ताके लागू पाए. Do you understand the meaning?
Both are standing in front of
Guru
me.
and Gobind, so Guru and Krishna, standing. Whose feet should I touch first? Or whose feet should I touch? He says further, Balihari Guru Apno, Govind Diyo Milai. I will touch the feet of my Guru who connected me to Krishna. So, the route is not that simple as we understand. Now, the next question is that how do we get that Guru to get Krishna? Yes? Correct? How do we get that Guru who can connect us to Krishna? So if you go to Krishna, he gets you Guru and Guru gets you Krishna. Did I confuse you? Did you understand this? Krishna gets you Guru and Guru gets you Krishna.
So can you elaborate?
So when we surrender from our heart to Krishna, he gets you a Guru. And then the Guru further connects you to Krishna. We are not fortunate enough to directly see Krishna, how Arjun is seeing. So in 2.7, he's surrendering to Krishna and Krishna becomes his Guru directly. Very lucky. But we can't. So how do we connect to Krishna or how do we surrender to Krishna? Yes, Randir.
So Krishna connect. I can understand about the Guru connecting you to Krishna, but sir, why does Krishna need to connect you to the Guru? The Buddha sat under the Bodh Gaya for X number of days, and he had a direct connection to God. So he didn't have a Guru. You can directly connect to Krishna by yourself, can't you?
Can you?
You already have his words. You have Krishna's words in front of you. So why do you need a Guru? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. We're getting the words from a Guru.
Maybe
Sorry,
maybe
I
because
just can answer
Krishna
my
can't
question.
speak to us right now. Then, I'm trying to answer Randir why we require a Guru. we can't understand entire deeds or entire things what Krishna wants to speak to us. It has to come through a medium. So Krishna will get us a guru.
Very nicely said. Good thought.
Well, yes, I mean, I understand because I kind of answered my own question is Krishna's words out here, even though they're coming directly from Krishna, they have been deciphered by the Guru who's actually written the Bhagavad Gita as it gets, correct?
So we are following Srila Prabhupada, otherwise we can't understand.
Okay, okay, okay.
See,
Right.
if we had to read the Bhagavad Gita as Sanskrit itself without the purports or without the meanings, I think so we would be just reciting it. So we require a guru, where in our case we are following Swamiji as well as Prabhuji is explaining things to us. So we
Yeah, I'm
require a
just
guru
trying
for
to be a channel.
everything. Yeah.
Yes. Now, why do we need a guru? Is because we will not be able to understand Shastras by ourselves. It's very difficult, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even if we understand, we may not be able to implement them. Because someone who has implemented it already and done that successfully, he can guide us.
Yes.
So there are two types of gurus. One is a teacher and one is a preacher. You know the difference?
Preacher is only who preaches, he does not practice. Teacher is someone who has practiced and he.
It's the other way around, Abhijit. You are right.
Okay. Okay.
So teacher
Preacher
is
has
someone.
practice.
Yes. So preacher is
Okay.
someone who's propagating it. So propagating is after testing.
Okay.
So you propagate based on your experience.
Okay.
So that is a preacher. So he shares his realizations. He does not tell you what he has read. Teacher tells you what he has read. So that's a
Only
difference.
within the portions.
So the preacher or the guru, you have to, for that you need to first understand that how can I get a guru? So to get guru, you have to take shelter of Krishna. And if you take shelter of Krishna, you get guru and guru connects you to Krishna. So that is the root. So how do you take shelter of Krishna? So at the moment we're trying to understand the scriptures. But how do we take shelter of Krishna?
By
By
surrendering your soul
submission.
to him.
How do you surrender?
By
How do you surrender your soul? I'm talking practical. Because the thing is that you will hear these things. But how will you do it? How will you surrender your soul? Randhir, how will you surrender your soul to Krishna? Practically. Yes, Abhijit.
by giving him our services,
How?
like chanting
Okay, that's
and
one.
prayers.
Okay. But
Uh,
how? For chanting, if you chant,
mhm,
are you
mhm.
surrendered to Krishna? If you chant the names of Krishna.
You have to chant very dedicated. You should be
Okay.
very
What
dedicated
is
It
that? What
brings
is
you
that
closer.
dedication? Huh?
to bring us
Yes.
Uh,
closer. What Rishi said is to bring us closer.
What is that you have to do? Yes, Kshitij.
In every act or decision we take, we
Hmm.
should think about Krishna.
Okay. Can you do
And
that? Are you able to do that?
I'm trying to do that, but
Okay.
still it's difficult.
It's difficult. I know. I know. So what we should do
But
to surrender to Krishna?
and the other way, as Abhijit said, is chanting and doing the bhakti yoga to give
How?
Krishna.
What exactly do you do?
Yeah.
Practically
So,
क्या करना
so
है?
practically, Om
Uh,
Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya
Namo
via
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay.
starting from taking bath till we start
Okay.
work. That's what I do. I try
Okay.
to
Okay.
chant that as many times. And
Okay.
as you mentioned, 4 to 7 a.m. is the time. But that is
Okay.
one of the ways to answer the
Chanting.
question.
Okay. Fine. But
Second way,
is
when
that
we are in
is that
trouble,
surrendering? Chanting is surrendering?
that is a service, I suppose.
Okay. So what is surrender?
Sir, just drop the weapons. Don't think
कौन सा
anything.
weapon?
Just say,
What weapon?
Just say I am surrendered. What
Yes.
I would do.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? You are coming closer, Abhijit.
To have
Samarpan.
Yes.
faith, to have
You have
Atmasamar.
faith,
faith. Okay, faith.
to have
Yes,
faith and
Kalpesh.
surrender.
Sir,
Faith
does
and
it
surrender.
mean the concept which we were discussing regarding just just don't give in to the fears, just remember that he is standing behind me?
Very nicely. You are getting closer step by step. Very good.
Sir, but
Yes.
I'm not on that step.
You are getting
Consciously.
closer. You are getting closer. Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Abhijit, you keep thinking.
Yes.
Yes. Randir, any comments?
Submission.
Aditi, Kalpesh. Kalpesh hasn't said anything for a while.
Oh yikes! So no taste.
Yes, Kalpesh.
इसके घर पे था ऐसे पियो क्या
Yeah.
तो अच्छा है फूड ले आती है
I, Anilji went off.
Yeah, looks like it. I
Yeah.
also got disconnected. I connected through my phone again.
Any idea? Kshitij, how do you surrender?
That's a really good question, actually. That's
Yeah.
whatever we are doing right now
When
is
we
just chanting and all is not surrender, which we
actually
agree.
it's hands up.
You are,
I
Yeah.
surrender.
you are, you are, you are have said the right word. But I'm asking that when do you actually surrender?
So
Chanting.
when we can't think anything else. Now
Okay.
suppose I am in a
Now
problem like Arjun.
let's read what Krishna says, or
Mm,
I will read what Ram says because they are one and the same. We have done this before, but I'll read it again.
okay.
Sakrad eva prapanno yas tava asmiti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrenders unto me by saying, my Lord, from this day I'm yours.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just by saying once, Dil se, just go in front of the deities or even sit down and alone and you just think about the Lord and say, I'm yours. I take that thing very seriously. That's what Ram says. This is in Ramayana. I'm talking from Ramayana. This is the pastime when Vibhishan
Mhm.
was coming to Ram. And
Yes.
Sugriv from the mountain top saw Vibhishan coming to Ram. And he went to Ram and said, this is the enemy's brother coming to us. Please do not entertain him. Ram said, I will not only entertain him, if he is coming for shelter, I will give him shelter also. And that's where he says this verse. Sakrad eva prapannoyas.
Even if you don't mean it, then
Very
also.
nicely said, Rishi. Even if you don't mean it from your heart, the Lord takes it very seriously. Lord Ram takes it very seriously. How easy it is to surrender, huh? Yeah?
Yeah.
Can we do that? You imagine, not even, he says, even by jokingly, if you say that I take it very seriously, imagine if someone does with full devotion and with full heart. I know we follow the rituals, we do all sorts of things, you know, but we do what is actually required to surrender. And that's when he starts, giving you what you really need in your life, not what you want. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
The example given is that what you need is given by the father,
Mhm.
but what you want is given by the panwala, or the liquor shop. Yes, I want this. Imagine if you go to a liquor shop and you buy 10 bottles of whiskey, and the owner of that bottle shop turns out to be your father. Will he give you to drink that night? So, 10 बाटली पिएगा पूरा रात में. He will question you and he will not give you. But if it is someone else, he doesn't mind. Just show me your card if you are legal age and you get it. This is the difference. Okay. So Krishna, Ram, they give you what you need when you surrender to them. So now 2.7 onwards, Krishna will instruct him based on what Arjun actually needs. So we'll read from next week, but I'll tell you, after Krishna instructs him, at the end of Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapter is the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the 18th chapter, 72 verse and 73 verse is where the, the after effect of what Krishna speaks is seen. So 72, Krishna asks him, Krishna asks Arjun, O son of Pritha, Pritha was the name of Kunti, O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjay, have you heard this with an attentive mind? Krishna asks him a question. Have you heard what I said throughout the Bhagavad Gita with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? He asks him. Arjun replies in 73. Arjun says, My dear Krishna, O infallible one. What is the Sanskrit word for infallible? Achyuta.
Actually.
Achyuta. And this Achyuta is also the name of the Gotra. Once you take shelter of Krishna, you fall into the Achyuta Gotra. So when you go to temples like Jagannath Puri, or if you go to a temple in Srirangam, Ranganath Swami, in Kerala, Guruvayur, these are the temples where if you do not know your Gotra, you are not allowed inside. They are very famous temples. So if you happen to go there and someone asks you a Gotra, because you have taken shelter of Krishna, you can say, I have the Achyuta Gotra. So Arjun says, My dear Krishna, oh infallible one, Achyuta, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions. So chapter 2.7 verse, Arjun is in illusion. 18.73, illusion is gone. Okay, this is the power of Bhagavad Gita. It takes him out of the depression. He lost his will, but now he regains his will. So from antidepressant, from being in depression, having the antidepressant, and now he's out of depression and able to fight. So we'll carry through this journey until we reach 18. Hopefully all our doubts will be cleared, just like Arjun. Yeah. Any questions or comments?
Just one.
Yes,
Sorry.
Rishi. Yeah.
Yeah. Just one very very powerful comment from or understanding for me from today was the last part which you said is uh, like that example you gave. Father gives you what you need, not what you want,
Yes.
and you should have that patience and faith that even if right now you feel that things are not going
Yes.
according to what you think is right, if you are surrendered
Yes.
to the Lord, then He will plan out for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He will guide you.
Yeah.
He will guide you. You shall see, and you will see if you are surrendered. Yes. Yes. Randhir, you wanted to say, sorry, Kshitij. Randhir, you had raised your hand some time back. Wanted to say something?
No, so now my memory is gone. It will come back.
Yes, Kshitij.
I actually lost internet connectivity. I wanted to know the answer you gave to Aditi's question that she asked whether Guru and God are they the same, or what exactly is the answer to that question? Because Guru is who shows the
Guru
path.
is Guru's position is always higher than Krishna
Okay.
because he connects us to Krishna.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So he is always higher than Krishna.
Okay.
But we have to make sure that that Guru is a pure devotee of Krishna,
Mhm.
because only a pure devotee can connect us to Krishna, and only a pure devotee, purest devotee, can control Krishna.
Mhm.
That's why Krishna normally does not give that bhakti to everyone, because if someone is a pure devotee or a pure bhakta of Krishna, then Krishna does what he says or what he thinks. That's why he does not give that option
Mhm.
easily. Yes, Randhir.
Thank you.
So, sir, going back to the same point, if someone, as you mentioned, is a pure bhakt can actually control Krishna,
Yes.
what is there to say that this once the bhakti is being given, what is there to say that he will now be Krishna is going to be bound by the bhakt, and the bhakt can go ahead and change?
Sorry, I
It's
didn't
human
get your
nature.
question. I didn't get your question.
After okay, after Krishna has gone ahead and given bhakti to the pure bhakt,
Hmm.
he's bound by the bhakt. He's agreed to be. What happens is if the bhakt changes his intention, people get pride and proudful, right? What happens if that happens?
The topmost level of bhakti is prema. So bhakti has different stages. It starts with shraddha, which is faith, and it progresses next to bhajana kriya, which is chanting and hearing. It further progresses to sadhu sangha, association of pure devotees. It then further progresses to anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti is a process which may take a lifetime or a few lifetimes. Anartha nivritti means all your anarthas, that means all your bad habits, the minute of your bad habits are extracted out. And after that, you develop something called as nishtha. which is a very strong faith. The difference between Shraddha and Nishtha is that nobody shakes you up or can deviate you from the bhakti. In Shraddha, you are like a banana tree. When a wind comes, you are shaken. But Nishtha is like a banyan tree. Wind comes, you are not shaken. It further progresses to different stages, which at the end reaches bhava and then prema. So the pure devotee of the Lord is in prema bhakti. And from prema bhakti to fall down onto 9 stages, it is impossible. Krishna knows that. That's why he doesn't give that. After prema bhakti, there is no chance you will fall down. Yes, Randir.
So, deviating from the Bhagavad Gita, let's
Mhm.
take the example of the Quran, right? There are the average Muslims who actually sit down and, who pray. And then there are the other guys who believe that their faith is that strong that they strap themselves into a car bomb and blow up, 40 people, right? All in the name of Allah. Is that for them, is that Nishtha?
Can you rephrase your question?
One is the person who is a bhakt, right? He's There's someone who actually is a normal, devotee.
Mhm.
And then on the other end of it is someone who's got that much faith that they are willing to do whatever it takes in order to prove, not prove, but in order, what did I say is, in the name of Islam,
Mhm.
or the name of protecting Islam, they're
Mhm.
willing to strap a car bomb on, and they're willing to, says, okay, I don't care about myself. I will do what it takes. Now, is that Nishtha?
Okay. So, what you're talking about is when someone is allured to do something in terms of receiving something. So, what we are talking about is prema bhakti, which is spiritual, not material.
Oh, okay, okay,
In
okay,
terms
okay.
of the allurement which is done in other religions, as you're speaking about,
Right,
is when they are allured to go to heaven and
right.
have a better life and enjoy with 70 plus virgins.
Okay, okay. I get your point. I get your
So the
point.
allurement is
I get
material
it.
benefits. Basically, the people who are not able to enjoy in this world, current life, they are promised to get a new life in the heaven, very luxurious.
Okay,
So
okay.
that promise and that allurement drives them to do those things.
Right.
It is nothing
Because in the
spiritual.
media,
It is nothing spiritual.
all they keep talking.
So there is no
So,
spirituality there. There is no bhakti there. It is mostly,
uh,
I mean, mainly, not mostly, mainly it is the bodily concept that you will go and enjoy the luxuries.
right, right, right.
So
Okay,
basically, if you see the people who give away these lives, their own lives in bombing or whatever, they are not rich, unfortunately.
right, right.
They are the underprivileged ones who are picked up and given a dream of enjoyment, which Arjun is also talking about. The same enjoyment which he is talking about is the dream these guys have been given, that in your next
Mm-hmm,
life you
mm-hmm.
will be in heaven and you will enjoy. But Krishna says to Arjun that if you do not fight against the adharma, you will not enjoy either in this life or in the next life. You will not get the heavenly planets because you're not doing your dharma. And in case if you lose, you will not be enjoy here anyways. And if
Mm-hmm.
you do your dharma and if you fight and you die, you will get the heaven any which ways because you've done your dharma. But if you win, you will enjoy here also. So enjoyment is guaranteed in both ways if you do your dharma. But there the question is that you do adharma and you'll enjoy. So the concept is just inverted. Because you're
Okay, okay,
underprivileged
okay.
at the moment, you will be privileged if you do this activity, which is manipulated, unfortunately.
An enticement.
You can say that, yes. Yeah, a
Okay.
speculative dream.
So, sir, remember when the Pandavas, after they went ahead and handed over the kingdom to their grandson or great grandson,
Yes.
uh, when they were going up to the mountain,
Yeah.
uh, I think as different people kept dying, right? The different brothers and then Draupadi.
Yes.
So Yudhishthir, didn't he actually see the Kauravas in in sort of heaven,
Heaven. Yes.
whereas
Yes.
he saw
He
his
did.
son, he saw his
Yes.
brothers and Draupadi in hell, and he didn't he
No.
question the Lord and said, "Is and he said, "Is
For
how did this
Ashwatthama.
He
happen?"
saw he saw a few in heaven and a few in hell. Yes, that's fine. So
Right,
okay. So coming back to heaven and hell, when we talk about heaven and hell, these are all material planets. They're not spiritual.
right.
They are material planets. So again,
Yes.
these planets are designed in such a way so you enjoy or you suffer, but it is all material.
Okay,
It is not spiritual.
okay.
So so now, who enjoys and who suffers? It is like the silo. You know the silos? So in the silos you put good grains, yeah, then you put bad grains. In case if you're putting good grains first, then bad grains, then good grains and bad grains. So initially when you take out the grains from the bottom, everyone knows what are silos? No? Randhir, can you explain what are silos?
They're those really long things, like a cone which is standing up right
Yes.
next to an agrarian, right next to a farm. And what
Yes.
they do is rather than just putting all grains of wheat in one, they go ahead and have these different subsections where you've got good A1 and then you have B2 and A1. It's like different grades put up
Correct.
there, stored in different quantities.
Right.
So they are controlled mechanically. So what happens is, if the market is good for one grade, then
Hmm.
one side comes out. Yeah, I mean
Correct.
that's what it is,
Yeah.
quality control.
Basically, these are big concrete pillars, you can say, or like cone shaped structures where they store the grains. So they keep on adding the grains from top and they discharge the grains from the bottom. Do you understand? These are silos. Okay. So why I'm taking the example of the silos is that if you add bad grains from top first and then the good grains, what will happen is when you take out from the bottom, which grains will come out first?
Bad.
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 Okay. But it doesn't mean that only bad will come out. Good is
Then
coming
good
in
will
some
also come
time,
out.
right? So that is heaven and hell. It doesn't make any difference. So if you are in hell at the moment, doesn't mean you'll always be in hell. In some
Oh.
time, heaven is coming up.
Yeah.
So you can
Okay.
do your time in hell and then you can go and enjoy
Similarly,
heaven.
if the in the silo first the good grains were put and then the bad grains were put, so what will come out first? Good
Good.
grains.
Good.
But eventually the bad will come. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Wonderful devotee, very simple devotee gives an example of pani puri. In the night, you go to the street of Mumbai and have pani puris. You love it so much that you have 20 pani puris, but that's not enough. You have 20 more. You enjoy it, right? In the night, but the bad is coming in the morning. So at the time, you may not realize that your karma is giving you some reactions, but it is coming.
Yeah.
Remember, it is said that when the good times are there, don't be very happy because your good karma is getting cut. The bad is coming. When the bad comes, don't feel bad because the good may come. This is how the life works. You may go to hell, you may go to heaven, but when you are connected spiritually, everything changes. You are not in that karmic cycle anymore. You are trying to come out of that karmic cycle. That's where spirituality, that's where adhyatma comes. Because there, karma is not related at all. Because karma is related only to your
Material
body.
body.
Remember those circles we made at the beginning? Three circles. Do you have those circles?
Yep.
Yeah. Karma is related only to your
Body.
Body.
body. It's not related to your soul. So we are trying to reach to the state of soul. Did that answer your question, Randir?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments?
A very quick
Yes.
question. You
Yes.
mentioned about the stages of bhakti, the last one being prema.
Yes.
Which stage did you say if you cross that you can't come back? Was it prema or the one before that?
Prema.
Prema
Prema.
is the top. It's the last
Okay.
one. Yeah. Prema is the last one. So if you want the series, I can tell you Shraddha to Prema. So there are
I think there
9
is a
stages of
picture.
bhakti.
This is the picture, right? A human being sitting with from his nabhi till head. These all stages.
So I can tell you now if you want.
Those are
So the first
chakras.
one
Mm-hmm.
is the Shraddha.
Yes.
Next is Sadhu Sang. That is you associate with the devotees.
Okay.
Next is Bhajana Kriya. That you
Okay.
start doing your practice, chanting, reading, singing, kirtan, all these things. Then it comes Anartha Nivritti. Anartha Nivritti is the longest one because we know what our bad habits are, but we do not know what our dormant bad habits are.
Hmm.
You know, we may know our desires, we may not know our urges. You know,
Mm.
is it making sense?
Mm-hmm. Since
There are
you had
few
mentioned.
urges which only we know. You know, not our closest person would not know what our urges. Yeah, फैंटेसी भी बोलते हैं उनको इंग्लिश में.
Mm.
Yeah? अलग, you know, if you think about it, we don't know those things. They are deep and dormant. No, they just come up. After anartha nivritti, it is nishtha. So shraddha and nishtha are faith, but nishtha is a deeper faith. Shraddha is a lighter faith.
Mm-hmm.
Initial faith is shraddha, and deeper and stronger faith is nishtha. After nishtha, it is ruchi. Ruchi means taste. You start getting taste in it. Ruchi, you know,
Mm.
at the moment when you're
Interest.
chanting Hare Krishna or you're doing any kind of activity like devotion, you're doing it like in, you know what is taste? Taste is the rasa.
Rasa. Okay. Yes.
Maza,
The
maza aane.
sweetness. Yeah.
Maza aana chahiye. You keep going back and doing that again and again. In this Kali Yuga, na, unfortunately, if you see in the material activities, na, every external activity has a very limited ruchi. Taste ज़्यादा नहीं है उसमें. It's like a chewing gum. वो taste चला जाता है. Take an example, you know, any good song which comes out in Bollywood. Initially, it will be like a super hit. Doesn't stay for longer. They, they say there are everlasting songs, but even then, if you hear an old song which is an everlasting song, ज़्यादा दिन तक मजा नहीं आएगा. 2 दिन सुनो पक जाओगे. 3 दिन max, give
Mm.
or take. चौथे दिन में बस करना है यार, बोर हो गया. वो टेस्ट नहीं आएगा. कंसिस्टेंट टेस्ट नहीं आएगा किसी भी चीज में. रोमांस, मैरिज, अट्रैक्शन, फिजिकल अट्रैक्शन 18 months मैक्स, बॉटम आउट. उसके बाद नहीं आएगा. पूरा जूस खत्म. नो टेस्ट आफ्टर दैट, आई कैन गारंटी. 18 months लिमिट हाई. उसके बाद नॉट पॉसिबल. You won't have that. Whatever they talk about, Whatever they talk about, कुछ भी कर ले कोई, नहीं है.
सामने
You
रखी
won't
थी,
get the
you took it
taste.
away.
नहीं मिले consistent. I will love you forever till this lifetime. Bullshit. Trust me. नहीं होता ऐसा कुछ भी. नहीं चलेगा. 18 महीना मैक्सिमम. ये है टेस्ट, रुचि.
सर मेरे को पूछो ना, 2 बार हो चुका है.
We have a realized soul as well. See. So this is what it is. Ruchi. So ruchi with the devotional service. वो लग गई ना, अगर वो आ गई ना, वो टेस्ट आ गया ना, that's it. कुछ अच्छा नहीं लगेगा उसके बाद. इसीलिए जो वो लेवल पे आते हैं ना लोग, but they have to do their dharma also. They have to do your grahasth ashram. You have to do your duties. You can't say no. झोला पकड़ के निकल नहीं सकते घर से बाहर.
It's
not
difficult,
right.
sir, but
No, it is not advised. It is discouraged. You should not do that. That is what Arjun is trying to do. वो बोल रहा है, वो मेरे को begging करने गया है, झोला लेके जाना है मुझे. नहीं कर सकता, लड़ना पड़ेगा. You can't. You have to work. A very good example is given is that if you reach that stage and you have that taste, if you have that ruchi, then you don't have to become a sannyasi from outside. You will become a sannyasi from inside.
Inside.
मन से सन्यासी बन जाओगे. And the example given by the sannyasis, real sannyasis, you won't believe that example. The example is given of a paramour. You know what is a paramour? Anyone knows what is a paramour? Yes, Randeep?
A lover, sir.
Yes, lover, but which lover?
unrequited.
Yeah. What is that? Explain clearly. Simple English में बोलो. Direct समझ में
Unachieved.
आए.
जो
Sir,
that is not
no
fulfilled.
reply.
Huh?
Apply, no reply.
No. It's not that.
One-sided lover.
No. It's not that. It's not
One-sided.
that.
वही तो बोल रहा हूँ.
Unfulfilled.
No. That is not the real meaning of paramour. Paramour means someone who is already in a committed relationship but is in love with someone else. Extramarital affair is called paramour.
Okay.
Yes. Now, we are not encouraging extramarital affairs here. That's not what the discussion is about. The understanding from the sannyasi. अभी सन्यासी को कैसा पता है कि extramarital affair के वो तो शादी नहीं किया बेचारे ने. So how does he know what is it? He is giving an example that how a paramour makes things perfect in the relationship by not exposing his love affair to the committed relationship. बहुत संभाल के चलता है. फोन से सब मैसेजेस डिलीट करता है. एसएमएस सब डिलीट करता है. ईमेल्स नहीं होना चाहिए. ईमेल आईडी अलग बनाता है. सब यू नो उधर अलग नाम, उधर अलग, और पूरा बराबर से मैनेज करता है सब कुछ ताकि ये रिलेशनशिप टूटे ना. दिस इज हाउ इट इज कंपेयर्ड. ये एग्जांपल समझ में आ रहा है? तो भक्त क्या करता है? What does a real pure devotee of the Lord does? He's not interested in his worldly activities. He's not interested in the marriage. He's not, but he does all that with perfection. Keeps this, so intact, but he's connected to Krishna. Man se sannyasi. He's connected from the heart, but from outside, he's doing his duties perfectly. This is what Krishna is advising Arjun. Yes, Randhir, sorry.
Sir, but the thing is, we live in Kali Yuga. And when you have this beautiful connection with Krishna, and people around you are basically danavs, I'd say.
Yes.
How do you survive among them? And still keep your
intelligence is the key. You know what's the definition of intelligence? One was to know what to do when you don't know what to do. That is okay. There is another meaning, another definition of intelligence. The power to discriminate. How you discriminate and not connect with those people, even after being associated with them, is intelligence. कुछ समझा क्या बोला? Do you understand this?
बताइए एक मिनट. Can you
I'll say that
just
again. Intelligence is the power to discriminate. The power to discriminate in such a way that you do not connect with people or even after being associated with them.
But sir, एक बार तो उनका connection हो ही जाएगा ना. That means
That is where the
discrimination.
intelligence.
नहीं, but
How?
discrimination करने के लिए.
Okay, so did we do different types of friends? Mitra, bandhu, sakha.
Tumi ho
Yes.
bandho, tumi sakha ho.
No, we did different types of friends.
Yes.
Abhijit?
Yeah, we did bandhu sakha.
Yes.
No, sir, I don't remember.
Who's a bandhu? Who's a
Colleague.
mitra? And there is a friend, a true friend. What was that?
So bandhu is a colleague in office. I have it.
Very good.
written.
Yes.
We
Yes,
always
yes.
sing the song of Hare Krishna, Hare Murari. So, okay. Second one, Mitra is the social friend, which
Very
we
good.
know. And
Yep.
Sakha is actually the Sahajan, who is the well-wisher.
Very good. And there was Suhrat,
Suhurat, yeah, that's what is the well-wisher.
well-wisher. Do not make those danavs as your well-wishers.
Yeah.
That is the intelligence.
So, since we have touched the topic,
That is
types of
okay.
friends-
Sorry, Abhijit, I'll just finish this one.
No problem.
So you can have a bandhu who's a danav. Keep him as a bandhu.
Hmm.
If you have a mitra as a danav, keep him as a mitra. But do not make these two danavs. Come out of that category and make them as your suhrat. That is your intelligence, to discriminate them.
Hmm.
But then, sir, one more thing is,
Yes.
what if they were your bandhu and they were your mitra, and you're not able to make a determination of what they are today?
That is where the intelligence is. That how do you start putting them in the category of mitra or a bandhu? That is all inside you. You're not keeping them in a cabin or somewhere. It's all inside you. How do you discriminate? It's up to you. That is the intelligence. You have to use that component called intelligence.
Okay.
Did it answer your question? Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah, sir, since you just touched that topic, so what are the type of friends? Is Mitra, Bandhu, Sakha, and the fourth one you said?
Suhrat.
was
Suhrat. Suhrat. Suhrat is your true friend, best friend.
True. So, Sakha is a well-wisher, right?
No, Suhrat is the well-wisher.
Okay.
The real well-wisher. Did we do Sakha as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sakha, what is the meaning of Sakha? I don't remember Sakha. I know Suhrat because Suhrat is in Bhagavad Gita.
Because that's what we mentioned for Sakha is the
Okay,
Surat or
so
the
maybe
well-wisher.
Sakha and Suhrat are the same. So Sakha, I
So-
don't know. There is a Shastra. There are only three, I think. So there
Yeah,
is
we had
Bandhu,
read this like this.
Mitra,
Bandhu,
and
LinkedIn member. Then what is Mitra is Facebook friend, and
very
Sakha
nice,
is
very nice.
actual well-wisher.
Well done,
also.
Chituj. Yeah, well done. Yeah.
Colony friend, I've written.
Yeah. Technical explanation. है वो, बराबर एकदम. हाँ. Yes, Randir.
So regarding Sakha, okay, this is something which I'd read a while ago, and they're saying is the relationship between Krishna and Draupadi.
Hmm.
And they said is she was, they had a relationship through Kunti, right?
Through Kunti. Kunti was not directly related to Draupadi. Only she was a daughter-in-law. Draupadi.
So what happens in this is, I think, didn't she call Krishna Sakha, and he called
Yeah,
her Sakhi or something.
yeah,
That's all.
Yes.
yeah. Saki is a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, well wisher, a true friend. That's why the true
Okay.
friend of Krishna is also known as Krishna. That's why
Mm.
Draupadi's name is Krishna.
Acha. Okay.
Hmm. Krishna means Draupadi. Krishna means Krishna himself. Krishna makes it female. So किसी मर्द का नाम कृष्णा रखना गलत होगा.
So Vivek Oberoi,
हाँ, विवेक ओबरॉय. क्या
उसकी
हो गया
पिक्चर
विवेक ओबरॉय?
देखी क्या? उसकी
No, I don't
पिक्चर
know.
आई थी कृष्णा,
No,
Krishna,
it is Kisna.
आई थी many years
Kisna.
ago.
That
Kisna.
was Kisna.
कृष्णा की कृष्णा.
I really don't vouch for those guys. They because I don't know whether they really read shastras. Someone has to read shastra properly. Speculators, unfortunately. Don't worry about them. उधर से वो यूनिवर्सिटी खराब है, उधर से मत लेना नॉलेज. Won't take this. Yeah.
So I was being sarcastic. I've actually gone to
Is the
university with
recording
Vivek.
off now? Can you put the recording off? Because I don't think so. It will become too lengthy.